Welcome back, horror fans of the Weird Kid Horror Show. I am your host, the Weird Kid. We're on the new set, ladies and gentlemen. I got the lights, I got the new camera going on here. So, it's storming outside. It's getting really, really brewing. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let it go. You can hear that thunder, hopefully. We need it. It's been a little while since we've had some rain here in Florida. I'd like to say, oh, it's going to cool things down, but it's not. Once it stops, it's going to be even hotter and more humid than before. Anyways, we're not here to talk about the weather. What are we here to talk about? Well, today, for the first time on the new Weird Kid Show set, I wanted to do a real simple build, just using mostly dollar store junk. So, what are we going to do? What do we need and how are we going to do it? Let's jump into it and I'll show you how. Thanks for being here. Check this out. Alright guys, so you've seen these. These are super cheap blow mold dollar store skulls. Average at best, you know. For $1 I guess you can't go wrong, but what can you do with them? I guess some people might use them to put along the driveway or walkway coming up to the house Halloween night. You probably could stick a candle on top of it, or maybe cut a hole, put a stake and a tea light, one of those battery powered tea lights or whatever. But what else can you do with it? Well, I'm going to show you. So this costs $1. In one of my videos, a creepy doll tutorial, I used the mouth and I cut around here and cut that out, and then I super glued it or hot glued it to the mouth of a baby doll that I corpsed. Okay, so we're going to do that here too. So just like that, cut out the mouth. Actually, it's not the same skull. I just kind of switched them out. See what I did there? It's pretty clever, huh? This is the one that I actually used for the creepy doll, and I had cut the mouth out and everything. So it's already been cut out. I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's not been cut out. Okay, but we cut out the mouth. Okay, and we don't need that now. All right. So one thing I'm going to want to do to give a base something to work on is I'm going to want to take a base like this, and I'm going to get a wooden dowel. I'm going to drill a hole in it, and then I'm going to place this on there and glue it on there so that it's on there firm, and it has this you know, we don't have to hold it. We can work on it with free hands. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that next. All right guys, so what I did was I took this wooden plinth and I drilled a hole in it just a tiny bit smaller than the dowel. That way I was able to pry it in there and it's going to actually stay in place without any glue. Then I punched a hole in it, the skull, and then I shoved it in. I shoved it on top of the dowel. Okay, and you can see the dowel is in there. Alright, but we're going to want to finish this off. We're probably going to want to put a dab of hot glue in there to kind of secure it, but we're going to have a remedy for the inside of this mouth. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stuff some plastic in there to corpse the inside of the mouth. So let me get to that. Alright, so now as you can see, I went ahead and I shoved some of the plastic inside of the mouth. Alright, but I don't want to get too much. I don't want any around the lip area, and I'll explain why here in a second. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and corpse this. As you can see, it's shrinking. Alright, so I'm going to want to shove some more in there, and I'm going to keep doing this until it's all filled in, and it should help secure the dowel in the back and then fill in the mouth. So we're going to come back here in a second here once this is all done. Alright guys, so I went ahead and stuffed some more plastic up inside and corpsed it, and then I put some plastic down around here and corpsed it too. Alright, we got another step we're going to do, but the first thing I need to do is paint the inside of the mouth, because it's going to be hard to get to with what we're going to do next. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to paint it with flat black paint. Alright guys, so I went ahead and then I started with acrylic, but you know what, it was hard to get in these corners and stuff with the paintbrush, so I went ahead and took some spray paint and just blasted on there. I went ahead and just sprayed the eyes. You could paint the whole thing black, it doesn't make a difference. You know, you're going to be adding on to this anyway. So anyways, this is what we got so far. Alright, now, have you been to the dollar stores or Walmart? You can find these all over the place. You probably looked at them and not even thought twice about them. Goofy teeth. I got these, I found these at Walmart and the dollar store. And there is a whole different variety of these things that you can find. And even at Walmart, I think they were only like $1.50 and it came with 4. And they were in the party favor section next to the aisle where they sell the greeting cards. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these, we're going to take 2 of these, and we're going to cut the gum line down because it's too wide. We're going to shave it down, and then we're going to super glue it to the top and to the bottom. Okay, and so now we're going to have some cheap instant teeth. Another dollar store skull, dollar store teeth. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these down and attach them, and then we're going to show you what it looks like when we come back. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I glued those beautiful choppers in the skull. Look at that, ain't it beautiful? Alright, so it looks crude around the edges, but we're not going to worry about that because we're going to corpse this thing, okay? Super cheap so far. We're in this thing like $2, okay? Not including the wood and stuff, but I've had that stuff lying around. So the next step I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put in some eyeballs. Now, eyeballs, if you want to stick to the dollar store theme, you could get some of those super balls. Super balls is what we used to call them as a kid. It's those little rubber balls that when you throw them on the ground, they bounce super high. You get 2 of those and prime them. You're going to want to prime them first. I would spray paint them black at least before you paint them the off-white or yellowish, whatever color you want. And as far as pupils concerned, you can go ahead and go on Google and type in printable pupils, and you should be able to see sheets that you can print off and cut out of the pupils, and then you just use Mod Podge or white, Elmer's glue to glue them on the eyeball. It works good. I also happen to know that Eduardo Talbert from Monster Tutorials has a PDF file that you can have for free for his pupils, because he's done some tutorials on them. Me, on what I did was I went with Sculpey, because I've already got Sculpey, and I've also already got glass cabochons. Okay, so this is what I ended up going with. And I did happen to roll out a Sculpey eyeball with no pupil. Another route you can go, if you got some Sculpey lying around the house, just roll out an eyeball and then go with the printable pupil method, or you can paint your own. I went with the glass cabochons. So I'm going to head and glue these in, and then we're going to come back and take a look and see what it's starting to look like. So we'll see in a second. Alright guys, so I hot glued those eyes in there, and as you can see, not everything is like realism with the weird kid. I wanted to go with something like whimsical, goofy. I want to call him Jethro or something like that. So he's not right, as I like Vic Springsteen, one of the members of the Trio of Terror, likes to say, he's got sugar in his gas tank. So yeah, you can see he's a little off, but that's what I wanted to go for on this one here. Something a bit fun and whimsical. So so we got our eyeballs in, we got our teeth in, his mouth's been filled in. So now we're going to go ahead and corpse it. So we're going to come back here. I want to show you what he looks like after he's been corpsed. Alright guys, so I went ahead and corpsed this thing. I had to take some hot glue and go around the edges where the dollar store teeth meet the skull, just to kind of fill it in. That's okay. Yeah, I put a lot of corpsing on there, and I closed in the gaps around the sides of the mouth a little bit. And then what I do is I stuff plastic in around the eyeballs and push it in with something sharp so that I can corpse around it. Alright, so that's what we're looking like so far. And now I'm going to go ahead and paint this thing. So I'm going to come back after the first coat. So I gave it a base coat. I always like to use an earthy color. This is burnt umber, and that's one color I like to use a lot for a lot of different things. Anyways, I just completely coated the whole thing. I took a brush and then painted very carefully around the eyes, not to get it on the whites, you know, around the lips and everything else. So that's my base coat, or my primer, if you will, but it's also going to help with the transition to the next color. I think what I'm going to go with now is a green, like a rotting corpse green. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on, and then we're going to come back, and then I'm going to do a dry brush, and I'm going to see what else we're going to do with this thing. Alright, so we'll check back here in a sec. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I painted it. This was called a Kelly green, made by Apple Barrel. Alright, and so it's kind of like a grass green. And then I just did a dry brush with that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take that same Kelly green and I'm going to add a little bit of white to it, and then do a highlighted dry brush over the top of that. And we're going to see what it looks like then. Alright, so I'll come back. Took some of that Kelly green, mixed a bit of white in it, and then did another fine dry brush. Kind of brings out the highlights and stuff like that. I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to add a bit more white and then just do a very fine dusting, just to kind of make it pop, if you will. And then I think we're going to paint the whites of these eyes, but we're going to, I don't know, maybe we'll put some capillaries or something in it. So I'm going to check back here in a sec. Alright, like I said guys, I took some of that white and I mixed in some more with the green, just to give it a dusting, man. It makes it, to me, it really makes it pop now. Dollar store stuff, I'm telling you. Dollar skull at the dollar store, dollar teeth, Sculpey, but you can use a rubber ball, glass cabochons, or printed off pupils. This is going to be super cheap. Alright, but we're not done with this yet. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint those eyes, and for that I've got an acrylic. This is made by Folk Art. It is vintage white, okay? And then I think I might go ahead and try to paint some capillaries in this thing, just to give it some more character. Then we're going to see what else we're going to do with it. I don't even know yet, so let's see. Alright, so I'll come back after I paint the eyes. So I went ahead and took some of that antique white and painted the eyeballs. Alright, it's starting to come together. Now I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to take a fine brush with some red paint and just give him some capillaries in his eye, like bloodshot eyes, just to give him a little bit more characteristic. So we'll come back once that's done. So I went ahead and painted capillaries in his eyes. Go there. Alright, so now one thing I'm going to do with the eyes is I'm going to put some clear fingernail polish, varnish, whatever you want to call this stuff. Also bought at the dollar store. So I'm going to go ahead and coat that on the eyes and give them a wet look. I might even put some on the teeth. So let's check back and see what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, so I went and took some clear varnish and put it on the eyeballs, and I even put some on the teeth. That way it looks all wet and kind of gross, if you will. Alright, so there you go guys. Now what you can do is you could pop this off if you want, and put a string to hang it like a shrunken head if you want. You could put some hair on it. I got a piece of you could dress it up with some hair, make like a creepy shrunken head type of thing. That kind of actually looks cool, doesn't it? Or something else you can get at the dollar store is these things. You could attach some of this green in there and then give them a red nose and make them like a clown zombie type of thing. Anyways, super cheap, ladies and gentlemen. Super cheap, easy, and fun. Alright, so dollar store skull, dollar store goofy teeth, couple of eyeballs, either made out of Sculpey or you can use a rubber ball, whichever you may choose. Some corpsing, paint, a base, that's it. And that's what you got. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. If you wanted to, what I thought about is taking one of these. This is something else that was bought at the dollar store. This is one of those battery powered candles, if you will, is to glue it onto the top of this if you want. Use it as a centerpiece. Put it on your table during the Halloween party. There's all kinds of stuff you could do with this. You could even use this as the base for a doll. You know, you could remove the head of a doll and then attach this in place of it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you find this useful, and love to see what you guys try. So please check out my brothers in arms, Vic Springston and Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks. Between the three of us, we make up the Trio of Terror, and we have a Facebook group also called the Trio of Terror, where you guys can come and share your props, creations, ideas. It's diverse, but it's horror related. So anything Halloween, you want to talk about a scary novel you read, a Stephen King book, or a horror movie you saw. You do sculptures, creepy sculptures, you like oddities, or anything creepy, weird, eerie, out of the ordinary, Halloween related, props, tutorials. We know that Trans World was canceled this year, so it's hard on a lot of proprietors. So if you sell props, you're more than welcome to come on, jump on that group, and sell your wares. So I appreciate all of you, and until next time, peace.